For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Israeli strikes in Gaza have killed 76 Palestinians in the last 24 hours, according to Gaza's health ministry. Among the dead are some 22 Palestinians in Rafah, as Israel continues to target the southern region, hitting residential buildings, farms, and hospitals. The continued bombardments come despite a United Nations Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, and after Israel's defense minister met with U.S. defense minister in Washington, D.C. Tuesday to discuss Israel's ground offensive in Rafah, which U.S. President Joe Biden has called a red line. In Gaza, Palestinians say the Security Council resolution will do little to help them as they continue to face starvation. Rami Al-Magari reports.
Here in the middle area, local Palestinians expressed pessimism towards an imminent ceasefire in Gaza. Osama is a 52-year-old man who lost beloved family members during this war.
If the UNSC would have been able to stop this war, it would have stopped it during the past 6 months and not now after the killing of many thousands of people and the widespread destruction. I do think the war will definitely continue unless the U.S. demands Israel stop it.
Abdullah is a 32-year-old jobless man.
The resolution is in itself a positive move that will alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian people and decrease the number of those being killed. But I do not think that Israel will abide by the resolution.
Dr. Iyad Abu Muaylik told Pacifica that he does not foresee a change soon.
No, because everything will be as Israeli government decides.
And how about you under suffering? What do you expect after this resolution?
We will suffer.
For Pacifica Radio, I am Rami Al-Magari in Gaza.
A United Nations expert told the Human Rights Council at the United Nations there's reasonable grounds to believe Israel's war in Gaza amounts to genocide. She called on nations to immediately impose sanctions and an arms embargo. Francesca Albanese is the UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the occupied Palestinian territories. She released the report, The Anatomy of a Genocide.
Israeli soldiers have published footage boasting about their killing of families, mothers, children, the bombing of homes, mosques and schools. Self-incriminating videos show them sadistically mocking and humiliating their Palestinian victims, not only by violating their physical integrity and right to life, but also their dignity, their most intimate possessions and spaces that the soldiers have entered and looted, and by desecrating cemeteries and places of worship. Mass disappearance and arbitrary detentions, widespread and systematic torture and inhumane treatment add to the experience of endless death and loss.
Did not attend the council meeting, nor did the United States. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments Tuesday in a case aimed at limiting access to the abortion pill mifepristone. Anti-abortion doctors sued the Food and Drug Administration over rules that expand access, among other things, making it available by mail. A ruling against the FDA could reshape access to abortion nationwide and transform the power of the FDA to regulate drugs in general. Christopher Martinez reports.
U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar argued on behalf of the petitioners, the FDA.
FDA approved mifepristone based on the agency's scientific judgment that the drug is safe and effective. It's maintained that judgment across 5 presidential administrations, and millions of Americans have used mifepristone to safely end their pregnancies. Respondents may not agree with that choice, but that doesn't give them Article III standing or a legal basis to upend the regulatory scheme.
The FDA approved mifepristone in 2000 for terminating early pregnancy. Since then, the FDA has made it more widely available and also removed the requirement for in-person visits with a doctor. The case was brought by 7 anti-abortion doctors, the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine. Lawyer Aaron Hawley, with the conservative group Alliance Defending Freedom, argued on behalf of the 7 doctors.
FDA's outsourcing of abortion drug harm to respondent doctors forces them to choose between helping a woman with a life-threatening condition and violating their conscience.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson sounded skeptical. She says federal law already gives the doctors protection against conscience injury, but the lawsuit is asking for more than that.
they're saying because we object to having to be forced to participate in this procedure, we're seeking an order preventing anyone from having access to these drugs at all. And I guess I'm just trying to understand how they could possibly be entitled to that.
A majority of the 9 justices seem to lean against the abortion opponents. The Supreme Court is expected to issue its ruling by the summer. I'm Christopher Martinez.
Recovery efforts are resuming for 6 construction workers who were presumed dead after a cargo ship hit a pillar of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, causing the structure to collapse. 6 people are missing. Audio from first responders show a scramble to halt traffic just before the crash. The bridge is an important link in the region's transportation infrastructure, and its collapse is expected to snarl traffic and disrupt a vital shipping port. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.